Hey there, I'm RK, and talking gibberish to one another online is culturally effed. Today, we're going to talk about furry lingo, catchphrases, memes, and our tendency as a fandom to roleplay. We're going to look at the weird furry-specific terms. Keep in mind that a lot of what I'm about to discuss is merely my opinion, so if you hear something you disagree with or think differently about, please let us know in the comments and I will address it in a future episode. To make sense of what we're about to talk about this week, I would direct you first to watch Idea Channel's episode on internet dialects, where host Mike asks, does the internet have accents? There, Mike talks about American internet English and how it relates to specific online communities, like how you wouldn't speak Twitter on Facebook and how people who post on Tumblr post in a very Tumblr way. There's a lot to do in this episode with fandom, so I highly recommend you check it out first. I would also implore you to watch our episode on furries and the internet, where we go into some really old furry history. What I talk about in that episode is that furries were some of the first emergent social groups on the internet, before it became commonplace for most households to own a computer. Because of this, I present to you, my gentle viewers, the idea that furry, being one of the oldest social groups on the internet, has one of the oldest and therefore thickest internet accents. As we discussed in our episode on RPGs, sorry for the link-heavy episode, role-playing is an integral part about how furries communicate. We don't actually have perky ears, prehensile tails, or busy paws, but we do have asterisks and other built-in conventions to portray imaginary action in text-based exchange systems. In episode 1, we talk about what furry, anthropomorphic, and zoomorphic mean. Anthropomorphism, having human characteristics described or thought of as being like humans in appearance or behavior, considering non-human things as having human qualities. Furry lingo is loose and fun. It doesn't have very many strict meanings or conventions. It's a tool furries use to talk to each other in a fun and playful way. We can substitute fur for anything to do with regular humans, and we can strip away certain biases and introduce some new ones. And now, in roughly alphabetical order, adoptable, a pre-made original character whose ownership and right to reproduce can be bought or auctioned from the creator. Any fur, anyone, or every fur, everyone. Burned fur, a group of furries from 1998 to 2001 who wanted to disassociate the fandom from all adult and erotic materials with the goal of improving public image. Brony, an adult, or simply male, fan of My Little Pony. They're not specifically associated with the furry fandom, but they're kind of related. See also Pegasister, a female My Little Pony fan. Convention, a gathering around a specific topic or theme, usually at a convention center or hotel. Con crud, a flu, cold, or other illness that spreads at a convention. FA, referring to furfinity.net, the most popular furry website. Fandom, an organized group of fans of a specific genre, media, or movement. FurCon, a furry convention. Furmeet, a local gathering. Furpile, a pile of furries or fursuiters. Fursuits, sometimes referring to mascot costumes, but I prefer saying that it's more of a cosplay of an anthropomorphic character, original or otherwise. Fursuiting is the act of wearing it in public. My favorite definition, fursuit salsa. When you vomit inside of your fursuit head, the fluids drain away, leaving behind some chunky goodness. Fursecution, from persecution, discrimination based on being a furry. Furrydom, the furry fandom. Fursona, from persona, meaning avatar, an anthropomorphic animal representation of yourself, whether online, in a roleplay game, or in a costume. Funny animal, an anthropomorphic animal media that predates the furry fandom. See episodes 5 through 8 of Culturally Effed. Grey muzzle, a term for an older furry. Hybrid, someone whose persona is a combination of 2 or more separate species of animal. Latent furry, someone who likes anthro-animals but is not associated with or knows about the fandom. OC, standing for original character. Popufur, a well-known or popular furry. Plushies, referring to stuffed animals. Post-con depression, missing the feeling of being at a convention with all those hundreds of like-minded individuals, and the sadness that it will be months or even a year before the next one. Post-furry, beyond anthropomorphism, adding other elements like slime, cybernetic implants, or scent. Planning to do a full episode on this, so stand by. Ref sheet, a reference sheet that outlines the design and details of someone's persona. Therians and therianthropy, someone who has a spiritual connection or kinship with animals or animal totems. I plan on having a full episode on this too, so again, stand by with this brief summary. Toon or toony, meaning more cartoonish instead of a realistic approach in art or fursuits. Species dysphoria. Depression caused by dissatisfaction with one's persona and a desire to change it. Hint, you can just change it. Don't worry about it, it's just a persona. Finally, a mundane, a non-fur, a normal, a human, or human. Furries who do not have a persona or people just generally outside of the furry fandom. Furry lingo must also include terms related to specific animals and persona, like digigrade legs, when the knees bend backwards like the hind legs of many four-legged animals. Specific species or family of species: canine, feline, equine, vulpine, lupine, avian, reptile. Animal parts: muzzles, beaks, paws, paw pads, claws, wings, and tails. Animal onomatopoeia: bleat, yip, bark, squeaks, chirp, duke, growl, meep, meow, meow. Mythical and fantasy terms like centaurs or taurs, being an anther animal that walks on four legs and has a torso with two independent arms like the mythical centaur. Other kin refer to humanoid fantasy races like elves or orcs. A kitsune is a trickster fox spirit from Japan. A chimera is a animal hybrid from myth. Dragons are, of course, dragons. Feral is an anthropomorphic character or persona, but not bipedal, meaning they maintain their form found in nature. Furries will roleplay their actions, which include verbally hugging and snuggling their victims. Glomp is a surprise hug from behind, and scritching is a gentle, affectionate scratching like you would give your pet cat. People outside the fandom don't really use these terms, even in their roleplaying. That's why it's off-putting to non-furries when they meet someone new on the internet and they start roleplaying at them with all of these strange terms. It's weird, sometimes inappropriate, and often just annoying. Keep furry talk amongst furries, please. When people not familiar with it encounter it, it makes us seem like a group of crazy people. Use your best judgment in public forums. Luckily, most furries have realized this on their own, and because of it, furries are not as persecuted as much as ye olden internets. There are a number of other furry buzzwords that I would like to discuss, but they are adult in nature, so instead I'm going to save them for a future episode when we talk about furries and sex. We will look at the origins and meanings of the word yiff, and the hurtful words that have been used against the fandom. For now, I'll leave you just by telling you that yiff means sex, but it also means a bunch of other things. We'll discuss yiff as well as a number of other words in that future episode. If you simply can't wait that long, there is a list of terms from my research that I included in the description. So please hit subscribe so that you can see when we release Furry Dialect Part 2, Dirty and Hurtful Words, as part of our Culturally Effed After Dark series, which you can get early access to by going to patreon.com/culturallyeffed and becoming a regular patron. They get early access to all of our videos and even earlier access to our series on furries and sex called Effed After Dark. Most of the definitions I mentioned in this episode can be found in the source links below. Some of them I wrote on the fly. Did I miss anything? Please let me know down in the comments, and thanks for watching. Culturally Effed this week was brought to you by these fluffy people. If you like what we do here, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/culturallyeffed and consider becoming a regular patron. You'll get early access to videos and a bunch of other cool perks, as well as access to our series all about furry and sexuality called Culturally Effed After Dark. If you have an idea for a future episode, you should tweet at us at culturally_effed or leave a message on one of our other many walls across the internet. And thanks for watching.